Pop singer David is facing first-degree murder charges in connection with the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Yesterday, David Anthony Burke appeared in court for the first time, pleading not guilty. Hernandez's dismembered body was found in the trunk of Burke's abandoned car last September. Now, prosecutors say they're confident they can prove he killed the 14-year-old girl. But his attorneys say evidence will show he didn't. ABC's Trevor Alt has the latest.
Harrowing new accusations against popular singer David, now charged with first-degree murder and sex crimes in the death of a 14-year-old girl.
A parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back.
The LA District Attorney says the 21-year-old, whose real name is David Burke, had a months-long sexual relationship with that young girl, Celeste Rivas. Investigators believe he killed her after being concerned either Rivas or a third party would report it, and he wanted to protect his status as a rising star. Investigators say last year, April 23rd, Celeste Rivas went to David's house in the Hollywood Hills, and that was the last time she was seen alive. According to the charging documents, he was allegedly lying in wait to kill her and used a sharp instrument as a deadly weapon.
On September 8, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla.
Prosecutors allege in May 2025, David mutilated the body, and the decomposition made the investigation into her cause of death especially difficult.
What makes you confident you can prove these allegations?
The totality of the evidence, where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
And Diane, David's attorney claims the real evidence in this case will show he did not murder Celeste Rivas and was not the cause of her death. But if convicted, David could face life in prison without parole or even potentially the death penalty. Diane?
Trevor Alt, thank you. And ABC News legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer is here for more. Hi, Brian. So the DA is adamant they can prove Burke murdered Celeste Rivas Hernandez. What do these charges of first-degree murder and sex crimes tell you about the potential evidence they have?
Good morning, Diane. I'm really focusing on these murder in the first degree charges because there are three separate special circumstances. One, that David is alleged to have been lying in wait. Two, that he did this for financial gains. And three, that he did this to silence a witness. And when you put those three together as a narrative and you heard the presser, what they're arguing here is that because of the relationship that David had, I believe he was 20 or 19 at the time, in which Celeste was alive when she was then 14, he's with a minor. And the allegations are that David committed this crime not only to hide the fact that he was having this relationship, that's that witness part, but also to save his career, because the obvious assumption is if this was public, he would have lost everything. That's that financial gain part. And then lying wait is the one really intriguing to me, because that tells me the prosecution has some level of information to say that David somehow lured Celeste into an area, waited, and then sprung some sort of trap on her, causing her to be murdered. That's very intriguing to me to see what they have, especially after this very long investigation.
Brian, the motive part of that, they're alleging that he killed Celeste because she was threatening his lucrative music career. How difficult do you think that part will be to prove? And what happens if they can't?
Yeah. So I'll kind of answer in backwards somewhat, Diane. If they can't prove it, then that type of special circumstance murder gets dismissed. But there are still the witness aspect and the lying in wait. So they could still succeed, them being the prosecution in what they're trying to do. But if they can't show a financial gain, if they can't show some sort of digital forensics, whether it be a text message or a communication between either David and Celeste or David and another person who is familiar with his accounting and his banking or whatever, something to show his intent, they won't be able to prove that. So I imagine there's going to be a cooperating witness, some sort of digital forensics, something to play out that narrative for the jury.
Brian, an autopsy is often key in a murder case. In this case, this body was very decomposed by the time it was found. So is it still going to play as big of a role?
I think it will play a very big role, Diane. And the prosecutor, D.A. Hawkins, said he's going to actually try to move to get that autopsy report released. But what we see, I think, could tell us a lot about this case. Don't forget, Celeste Rivas's body was found on September 8th of last year in LA. Her body was presumably there for days, if not weeks. And if we recall, in LA, they had record high heats in August. I think even just a few days before her body was found, it was in the triple digits in temperature. Inside of a trunk, inside 2 different plastic bags, her body would be heavily decomposed. But if they can find anything in terms of toxicology or any kind of injuries on the bone fragments that were still found, and then have some sort of corroboration with a witness, like someone close to David who said, yes, he did X, Y, and Z, that information, that corroboration could be very damning for David's case.
Brian, the DA says they could seek the death penalty, but they'll determine that later. What goes into that decision, and why not make it now?
Yeah, so the fact that we have these special circumstances along with the murder charges, that lying in wait, the financial gain, the going after a witness, that allows them to upgrade a murder from life in prison without parole to the death penalty. And what goes into this is who the victim is. Are they seriously vulnerable? A 14-year-old girl, I think, would fall into that category. Who is the defendant? What is his record? What is the heinousness of the crime? Dismemberment of a body, talking to the victim's family, who I'm assuming would want the harshest of punishment. Having that conversation and evaluating the case is what goes into this, and they'll determine, not today, because they like to take their time and kind of dot their I's and cross their T's, but sometime later on in the days and weeks and potentially months as to whether or not they seek the death penalty against David.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer, always great to have your analysis. Thank you.